So does everyone see the key thing here is not to write a new essay on the day. It's to have a very good core draft that you've learned and memorized, but that you are going into the exam with a sole focus of adapting and rephrasing. That's why I allow all that extra time in the exam. So you've got that time to actually nail the question in the way I just said, but that's the time that you need to rethink about how to phrase. But you're making the same points in each paragraph. Obviously, within each paragraph, you then need to have 3 to 4, depends on how much you can write. Again, it's all about that 32-minute threshold. 3 to 4 pieces of evidence that flow on from one to the next in relation to the topic sentence. So if you're talking about that fear of exclusion and how that's exploited by people who want to preserve their power, right? Or that people have a vengeance or something like, depending on what you're focusing on particularly, then you need to create 3 to 4 subpoints that actually builds a little bit of a story, not storytelling the plot, but it builds a story so that we're following from one piece of evidence to the next, your explanation and how that is backing up that topic sentence, okay? So 3 to 4 pieces of evidence, minimum of 3, depends how in-depth you are with that. And what do you notice about the brackets on the top one? Plus context and form. It doesn't mean you have to do both of those, but something I'm gonna get you to do almost for every sentence, not just the first one, so don't be misled by that. Every sentence, we wanna find a link to a macro feature of the text. So the dramatic form, so you can talk about why it's important that it was a theatrical, why it is theatrical, right? What is it about the dramatic form? Because it confronts the audience, right? Because the audience is there seeing it live. So the dramatic form has a visceral impact. I've got some notes on this anyway, so you don't need to write this down. But my point is you want to refer to that, something like that. What was the other thing about the genre or the type of play it was? Remember I said 1950s is like the late 1600s. What's that, right? So it's a political allegory. So that's another aspect of the macro feature because it pertains to the whole text. Is everyone clear on what I mean by that? So it's not the similes and metaphors. You can have a look at this later, but that's a real big breakdown there. See, if you have a look at the body paragraphs and then you break it up into each sentence, that's basically what each sentence is doing. You have a topic sentence, then you'll bring in context and link that to a quote and a technique and explain it, and then you just alternate really between context and form. Micro are the specific techniques, so simile, metaphor, hyperbole, personification. Whereas macro, which you can link to the micro, you can use them in the same sentence, is I haven't put macro there. Form is what I mean there, right? So form is like, it's a drama, it's an allegory, it plays into the tragic genre. It has a 4-act structure. Do you see how these things are such broad elements of the play? That they're macro, right? So you can link them together occasionally. Obviously, it's suggested twice per paragraph. At least one mention of form in each paragraph, something different about it. So one paragraph might be about the fact that it's a live performance and the impact that has on the audience. Another one might be on the allegorical nature of the play. Another one might be on the 4-act structure and why that's important. Do you see? Like you need to have at least one of those in each paragraph that's different. Okay, and then there's some guiding questions which you guys can look at later when you come to order the evidence. So you can ask yourselves these mini questions to help you put the evidence in an order that makes sense, okay? So what type of conflict? Who is it between? Why is there a conflict? How do we see it unfold? And that might help you build a little conceptual story within the body paragraph.